All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are looking at something incredibly creative. We're unpacking the structure of a brilliant 30-second comedic video that literally zooms us straight down into the microscopic world. It takes a super complex biological ecosystem and, turns it into this fast-paced, character-driven comedy. We're going to break down exactly how this short script masterfully uses funny characters to explain the very foundation of aquatic life. Seriously, it's science, it's comedy, and the whole shebang happens in just half a minute. The video hooks you right out of the gate by asking the most fundamental question of pond survival: who eats who in the pond? Notice how it doesn't give you some dry academic agenda. It doesn't start with a boring textbook definition. Instead, it jumps straight into the action. It frames the entire ecosystem as this high-stakes arena, setting up immediate curiosity. You're no longer just looking at a muddy puddle of water. You're looking at a battlefield, or better yet, a bustling, dramatic dining room. So let's look at the drama in the pond. To set the scene, the short animation immediately shifts your perspective. It takes that ordinary, maybe slightly murky green pond water you walk past every day and completely rebrands it. It frames this water as a stage with this fantastic opening line from the narrator: "Welcome to the tiny water world, where the biggest drama happens between the smallest characters." It basically tells the audience to just forget what they know about boring biology lessons. We are about to watch a soap opera starring highly opinionated microorganisms. It brilliantly scales up the emotional stakes by scaling down the physical size. The creators also threw in this amazing local flair. They weave in native phrasing that translates perfectly to "big drama is happening in this small water world." This local flavor makes the content feel incredibly natural and relatable. It takes the universal science of biology and grounds it right into the everyday conversational language of the audience, which makes this bite-sized comedy even more accessible and engaging. Moving on, let's meet the pond chef. Well, every drama needs a protagonist, right? In our quick 30-second clip, our first actor is the foundational worker of this entire aquatic food chain. Before anyone else can eat, before any drama can truly begin, someone has to actually create the food from scratch. Enter phytoplankton. Now, the script doesn't just hit you with heavy scientific jargon about photosynthesis. Instead, it frames the phytoplankton through comedic inputs, calling it the pond chef who whips up meals using a very specific recipe of sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. It literally gives a microscopic plant a job title and a personality. Just listen to this quote from our microscopic chef. Blending that great local flavor again, it proudly proclaims, "I am the pond's chef. Without me, no buffet, no energy, no pond party." The phytoplankton is boastful, it's confident, and frankly, it's a little arrogant. But scientifically, it has every right to be. As the script points out through the comedy, this tiny organism is the literal creator of the pond's energy. Without its buffet, everything else starves. But of course, we also have the hungry customer. You can't have a chef without someone to feed. So, enter zooplankton, defined here as the customer. The dynamic instantly shifts from production to consumption. This cheeky little creature consumes the chef's buffet. But it isn't just eating for fun. It actually serves a massive biological purpose. Zooplankton bridges the crucial gap in the food chain. It takes that microscopic plant energy and converts it, or as the script brilliantly puts it, turns that green drama into actual fish food. The personality just leaps off the screen here. The zooplankton tells the chef to relax, proudly declaring, "I am the pond's customer, I eat phytoplankton, and turn all that green drama into fish food." This perfectly captures zooplankton's relaxed, almost entitled attitude, paired directly with its phytobiological function. It acts as the great converter of green energy, just casually chewing away while doing the heavy lifting of keeping the food chain moving upward. So, the short clip pits the producer against the consumer in this central debate. Phytoplankton asks how the zooplankton can act like a hero while just eating its hard work. And the zooplankton fires back with a brilliant ecological truth: "Without me, your greatness would just float around doing nothing." This is exactly where the script shines. It uses a funny, petty argument between two tiny characters to explain the absolute interdependence of an ecosystem. Neither can sustain the larger pond without the other. And right on cue, enter the fish. Just when the microscopic bickering reaches its peak, the script introduces a third, much larger character. This character is the direct beneficiary of all the invisible drama we've just witnessed. The fish makes a dramatic, imposing entrance and acts as the ultimate referee. "Can you two stop arguing? I'm growing here because of both of you." With one funny line, the fish reveals the bigger picture of this ecosystem to both the tiny characters and to us, the viewers. The fish doesn't care who is more important. It just knows that the combination of the chef and the customer equals its own survival. If we strip away the character dialogue for a second, we can map out the actual chronological flow of the food chain exactly as described by the narrator in the video. Step 1, phytoplankton makes the food. Step 2, zooplankton eats it and transfers the energy. Step 3, fish get the benefit. The comedy just seamlessly delivered a 3-step lesson in aquatic biology without ever once feeling like a boring lecture. Which perfectly leads us into the tiny economy. As the short animation nears its end, the script forces us to zoom out from a micro view of an argument to a macro view of a whole ecosystem. It asks us to analyze what this all actually means for the pond as a whole. The narrator drives home this core message: tiny organisms, huge impact. It emphasizes that while these microscopic interactions were presented as comedic character clashes, they are actually the foundational base of the entire food chain. The health of the absolute largest fish entirely depends on the invisible drama of the smallest organisms. To reiterate this point, the script uses that fantastic local flavor again, with the fish essentially chiming in to say, "You two quarrel, meanwhile I am growing." It's a hilarious, totally self-centered observation from the fish, but it perfectly highlights the biological reality. While the tiny creatures argue and interact, the larger ecosystem just completely thrives. Let's quickly summarize the exact mechanics of this tiny economy. The phytoplankton creates the food, the zooplankton eats and transfers it, and the fish grow from that transfer. And, most importantly, this continuous cycle keeps the entire pond alive. What the creators did here was prove that funny character interactions can perfectly represent a highly complex, functioning biological system. As the video concludes, the narrator delivers this final, perspective-shifting takeaway. So next time you see green water, remember, it's not just water. It's a whole tiny economy. It totally reframes how we look at something as ordinary as green pond water. It challenges us to look past the surface and recognize the immense, bustling city of microscopic life working tirelessly underneath. The presentation leaves us with a closing thought that perfectly encapsulates the entire narrative arc. Tiny creatures, big role. This is the real story of the pond. It summarizes that entire quick journey from a funny chef and a hungry customer to the sweeping realization of how our natural world truly operates. And we end with this provocative hook question taken directly from the source video. Who do you think matters more in the pond? The one who makes the food or the one who eats it? It leaves you fascinated, doesn't it? It makes you ponder the mechanics of this tiny economy and actively debate the science you just learned through comedy. Think about that the next time you walk past a pond. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the